Thank you very much, Dr. Ali. Thank you for the invitation. I know we have not met in person. We connected online, and then Dr. Ali kindly sent me an invitation saying, we need to hear more about your journey as a female leader in academia. So just a little bit about myself. I am Dr. Deena Alsori. I'm by training, I'm a cell biologist. So I did my undergraduate degree in molecular biology and genetics. So biology is my background. And then I moved on. I moved to Cleveland, Ohio, particularly at the Cleveland Clinic. They had a very strong program in cell biology that I joined. That was back in 2004. And I managed to get a PhD from there. A very, very competitive, nourishing scientific environment in a huge lab where I looked at a single protein. I won't go into the details, but on human monocytes, where we looked at chronic inflammation and namely atherosclerosis. So, really looking at the cell from the receptor all the way to the nucleus. A lot of the molecular level work. So, it was a lot of lab work. I spent 5 years there. Meanwhile, during that journey, I was married when I started my PhD, so got married at a very early age of 21. I completed my PhD at the age of 26. During that period, I've also had my first son, who is a teenager now. So I had him at the age of 25. So it was moving from home at that time was Kuwait to the United States, to a brand new country, to getting married, having my own life, being independent, starting a PhD program from scratch, and obviously having a child. From there, so I got the specialization. I was awarded the PhD. Then having my son was very difficult to move forward and just live without support. And at that point, I told my husband, we need to go back. I need to go back and be around closer to family. Family is in Kuwait, and my in-laws are here in the UAE, where I currently live in Abu Dhabi. We were fortunate enough. I got a position. I was actually a fresh graduate. I got a full-time position as an assistant professor at Abu Dhabi University. And my husband also moved. He joined the oil and gas sector. And that was in November 2009. And I've built the program from scratch, actually. They just opened the Department of Applied Sciences. They didn't have anybody. I was the only biologist in the entire university, and we had a chemist. And they said we need actually degrees in public health and environmental health and safety, not even my specific background. I managed to put together a full-fledged degree, and I got it accredited in public health and in environmental health and safety. I've developed the labs from scratch, biology, chemistry, and physics. I've ordered all the textbook needed. And you can imagine the challenge for someone who just got their PhD, and we're talking at the age of 26. Um, and so they told me the space is there, the fund is there, go, the sky is the limit. I took up the challenge, developed the department from scratch, and obviously a few months after all of that hard work, literally it wasn't a year, they came back to me and asked me to be the chair of the department for the applied sciences. At that time, I wasn't comfortable because I'm still working on my teaching. I taught 14 different courses in that university. And my first son was young. We're planning to expand on the family. I was still working on my research, of course. I turned it down. But they saw that in me from the first few months that I could lead a department of professors that are much older than me and more experienced. And I felt a little intimidated by that at that time. I did accept the role as a coordinator, program coordinator at that level after I established and got accredited for that public health program. And then from there, I felt more comfortable with the system. I taught enough. I moved forward. Every year they would ask me, I believe I turned it down 3 times, the chair position. But then when I was ready, I accepted it. And I became actually a department chair for 2 campuses. And I was overseeing probably 20 faculty, full-time faculty. I was the youngest out of all of them and the least experienced. I was still teaching full-time. I had my second child at that time. I was still running my research and doing all kind of things. So just doing all of that at the same time. From there, luckily, I moved up to the ladder. I became an associate professor, got promoted academically to the rank of associate professor in biology. And then from there, I was the founding associate dean for the College of Health Science. The university decided to establish a full College of Health Science, introduce other programs. I became the first associate dean and kind of acting dean. So moved on to an associate dean and an acting dean role. Spent 13 years at the same university, where I went from an assistant professor all the way to an associate dean. And then 2 years ago, I was recruited to where I am right now, which is Rabdan Academy. Rabdan is very different than where I was. It's actually a university that focuses on homeland security and defense and policing and emergency management. Not my background, but they needed me for support in their academic affairs. So I came down as the academic advisor to their dean, helping in developing the programs, the accreditation, the student matter, and faculty affairs. And I've been doing that now for 2 years. That's in a nutshell my journey in the past 15 years since I got my PhD. Yes. So, I keep saying where I am right now, professionally and personally, is because of my family and my husband. I wouldn't be who I am right now without them. From an early age, from a young age, my parents have been very, very supportive of my academic, dreams and my academic work. So my parents really thought when I entered to do biology, they saw in me someone who can continue and pursue postgraduate studies. Actually, they wanted me to be a doctor. They're both physicians. They're both pediatricians. So because I'm such a high achiever, they were disappointed that I didn't go into medicine and I chose science. But that's how much I love biology, specifically molecular biology. And they said at that time, if you want to do science, you have to get the title. You have to go all the way and get that doctor title. But they believed in me, and so they supported me to go abroad. Again, that's not easy because I am the eldest girl. I'm the first to leave my family, leave the Middle East, and go all the way to America to study to get a PhD from my immediate family. So it was a very difficult decision. But then, of course, the support was endless. And then from day one, it was my husband, really. We've been married now for 20 years. Actually, our anniversary is coming up in July. I met him 21 years ago, and he's been my backbone. He's the one that really supported every step because, I would spend I would go 8 a.m., come back at 8 p.m. In most of the days when I'm doing my experiments and my work. And then when my child came, if it wasn't for him, I couldn't have completed my PhD. He would stay up at night with him to take care of him while I actually get some sleep because I was writing my dissertation. It was my last year. So, to any women out there, I keep saying, I'm sure, and I know that a lot of females have a lot of determination potential, but without the right support, it becomes very, very difficult. The right people, the right mentors, like, even my PI at that time, she was a female, she was very supportive, giving me the opportunities in the lab and the support, my husband at home, my family back home. So all of that, I think, without that, definitely it would have been impossible to get through the challenges as a young female who wanted to pursue much more than the typical, which is go for a PhD, get a career. But I also wanted to have a family at the same time. It's not like I chose either or. I did it both together at a very young age. I don't think it's typical for people to get a PhD at the age of 26 and start a full-time position in a university and develop things from scratch. So the challenge was very big, but I did take it. I said, I'm here, I moved, I joined this university, and I have to try my best. And I did it, and established all these courses and the programs and the degrees. I never thought I could do that, honestly. Never ever thought I'll stay in a lab, continue doing the experiments, and not really go through that route of even leadership and admin. Mm. Yeah. And that's a very good point, Dr. Ali, because when I teach my own students who are obviously young female scientists, especially back in Abu Dhabi University, I get that a question. How did you do it? How did you manage to go through all these obstacles as a Middle Eastern woman and someone, that tackled all these issues? I think, my major privilege, my background is that, I come from a very highly educated family, and that's a big plus, which a lot of probably ladies don't have. So I don't they understand, but I don't think they appreciate how important these degrees are. I feel I keep telling young females, parents want the best for their kids. And nobody can disagree. I'm a mother of two boys now, they're teenagers. We want the best for them, but it's your job to convince them why you need this degree and how much you want it. It's not because I want to leave home or I want to be independent. No, it's a passion and it's a dream, and show them that you've already started the journey wherever you are, but you need to continue. Having the acceptance letter, having these recommendation letters from professors, from whoever encountered that female, is very important to show the family. Number two, you said that, so again, I've been blessed with a very supportive husband who lived in the States for 15 years. And I think he is also Middle Eastern, but he did pick up on obviously the mentality and the open mindedness from abroad, from the States. Um, you know, in a relationship, or if you feel that relationship or marriage is going to stop your dreams, then maybe put that on hold. And I think that's what happens, and I've seen that they have all this plan. Some of my friends as well, they had it all planned. They want to go for a PhD. Some of my people that graduated with me, but then they got married, everything stopped. Kids and husband became a priority, and then she was convinced by her husband that it's, wait till they grow up, wait till they grow up. And sometimes once you stop that journey at academia, it's hard to come back, or you can't go back to being a student again. Or family issues will not allow you. So if you're really really determined, I keep saying, especially in science, don't take breaks. I didn't take breaks. I went from one degree to another, just to make sure I'm young and I still have the energy and nothing happens to stop me. God, I couldn't plan it, of course. Anything could have happened. But if you feel someone's going to stop that journey, don't do it. And also, not all the females can balance both, Dr. Ali. I have to admit, I've seen people, they actually have seen a lot of females that choose a career over a family, or family over career. If you know you can't do it, or you're going to neglect one side, then no, no, it's unfair. I did it. It was very, very challenging because I wanted to be that perfect mom. I was always there for my kids and still am, but also I wanted to make sure I excel in my career. If you're not able and it's too stressful, then don't do it, because you're just going to show yourself, oh, this is not for me. No, but if you know that you can do it and you know that you have the right support system, proceed. Otherwise, no. Focus career and then family, or get your degree and then maybe take care of your family. Eventually, if you still have it and you've got the support of your family and husband, go for it. Yes, definitely, definitely. I mean, it sounds like, I went through all of this and it was a piece of cake. No, not at all. at all. There were days where I wanted to quit the PhD. There were days where I wanted to quit my job. So no, it was there. I'm not going to pretend to be superwoman. One of the toughest things that was challenging, and I felt uh, I didn't feel I got the right support professionally was when we decided to have our first baby during my PhD in the States. So after 4 years, we said, okay, let's maybe think of having a baby. We're from the Middle East, people, and we were the first to get married from both families. So our families were like, where's that grandchild? Where's that grandchild? I get home. I remember one Christmas, I'm like, maybe we should think about having a child. And I did, and I didn't realize I work in such a professional environment that they don't care whether you have a baby or not. You still need to deliver the same way. So I still remember, where he would get sick, and then I'll be like, all right, I need to take some time off because I have no support, no nanny, no family, no friend. And I would say, no, but you've got these experiments running, you've got this chapter to finish, you've got this paper. So although my boss was a female, but still, it's almost like I got the message, you could have waited. It's your choice. And that felt horrible because then you're like, all right, did I do the wrong thing? And I remember calling my mom up and telling her, I swear, and I keep repeating the story. I remember it was the last year of my PhD. He was almost 6 months sick all the time because he was going to the nursery. He went to nursery at the age of 8 weeks because I didn't have any help. I called my mom and I said, I'm coming home with Khalid, my son. And I only had 4 months to go to defend. My mom went crazy. My mom, education is everything. And she said, you finished 4 years and a half. You're done. I said, I can't. I'm tired. I'm not eating. I'm not sleeping. I can't do this. I need to come home. And then she came over. She took time off and came to Cleveland to help me. So that moment was difficult because you realize not everybody will support you when you make such decisions. It's a harsh world, and you're on your own, especially when you make these personal decisions. So that's the biggest challenge during my PhD. My second challenge professionally, and I think still is being a female leader, especially when I was younger. We're talking my 20s and early career. That was very big challenge. Most of my team members were males um, from different part of the world, but a lot of them were from the Middle East. They were much older and much more experienced. So whenever I would take on a leadership position, especially when I became the chair of such a big team, I get things, why her? Is it because she's pretty? Is it because she's a girl? She's blonde? She's that? So I got comments that I felt were very, humiliating because I've worked so hard and I care so much. And when they chose me, it's not because I'm a female, it's not because I studied in America or whatever. So I got a lot of resistance. And I still remember in my first departmental meeting, my dean was very, very supportive. Obviously, he made me the chair. I was going in the meeting, my first departmental meeting, and I went to him and I saw him. I came in and I said, Dr. So and so, can you come with me to the meeting? That's how scared I was. And then he said, no, this is your team. Now you're leading this team. And if you need me, I'm next door. But again, that was reassuring. He's there, he can support me. But he said, you need to go on your own. You're leading a team now. And I just felt very, very intimidated sitting among these people and trying to go through an agenda. Meeting deadlines and requesting things was not easy at the start. I had to work extra hard to gain their trust and respect in a nutshell. And it continued. I remember in one meeting, it was another role for me. We were sitting in a very high level leadership meeting, and the person in charge, very highly ranked, was giving out the tasks of what to do for the accreditation visit. He looked at me, and then when he gave him the task, he looked at me and said, and for you, Deena, you just sit there and be pretty. And I thought that was very insulting. Again, having had so much to give to the process and my experience, So you think it's, it's only my looks and it's not really the value that I add academically, and I was very insulted. What do you mean sit there and look pretty? So I got that, it wasn't easy. When I got overwhelmed at some point, one of my line managers said, especially when I had my second child, I remember he come up to me. I still remember the line. What are you doing to yourself? Why are you doing all this? Why don't you go home and raise your kids? You're running all day long. You're exhausted. Go home and raise your kids. So I got comments like that, especially early career. I think now I'm much more confident, I'm much more experienced, that I don't allow such comments. And I think because I come out as a strong, independent, confident woman after all this experience, it's hard for them to really comment this way or make me feel that I'm any less. So I haven't had that in my last few years, but no, at the beginning, big challenge as a female leader. Um, it was slightly there. I, but not. It wasn't very obvious, to be honest with you. No, leadership position, especially where I've worked, where I'm working now, I see good number of female leaders. I think I see the challenges after she takes on the position, not getting the position. But really, I feel we have a good number. We still have more men in leadership positions, but I think that the opportunities are given to the females that are ready and competent, definitely. Yes, no, it has been given. Once you prove yourself, I mean, all of my admin leadership positions were given to me. I never applied to any of them. The only position, oh yeah, the only position was when I wanted to move from an assistant professor to associate, the academic one. I applied through the proper track. The others, I was actually asked, we want you to be the chair, we want you to be the coordinator, and I wasn't given a choice. And we want you to be the associate dean. So again, that was very reassuring, because you feel they believe in you and they're looking at a value, not just the gender that we can bring to the table. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that was one of, again, the biggest risks I took in my life as well. Um, After 13 years in Abu Dhabi University, I've established everything. My reputation was great. Rabdan Academy approached me and said, they were behind me for a while, but then I didn't think of it first. Oh, defense and security, there's no way. But then suddenly I was sitting and I'm looking, not necessarily at the offer, but just looking at the opportunity. And, I went and I was thinking about it. I'm like, why not? I don't want to stay in my comfort zone because I've done everything I want at Abu Dhabi University, from teaching to, I've done everything and I know everything. I became that reference that everybody asks me, but I want something new. I kind of went up so much and I reached a plateau. But I didn't work anywhere else in the UAE. It was my first job, Abu Dhabi University. And then I decided, I'm like, maybe it's not a bad idea. But I still remember I went to my husband. I'm like, I'm thinking of moving to this place called Rabdan. And then he's like, what's Rabdan? And he Googled it. He's like, are you out of your mind? This is not health science. This is not biology, not your area. And it's moving from private to government entity also. My parents went crazy. What are you doing? You're doing so well in your job. Why would you leave? And this is when I realized, no, I want to give it a try. I want a new challenge. I want a new risk. And yeah, I remember I sent the email resignation in January 2022 to I didn't tell anybody, to HR, the provost, the deans. My phone was ringing like crazy. What happened? Who upset you? Because I was so happy. What did they do to you? I'm like, nothing, nothing. I've got another opportunity that I want to try out. And I couldn't really tell them where I'm going because of the background and the nature of the job. I wanted to move first. So everybody thought I'm going to another, university with a strong biology program and then that's why people were shocked. Um, it was a great move. I've learned so many new things. I've worked with a very, very different type of caliber of people. Professors in Homeland Security and policing and emergency management are very different than scientists. The way they think, their behavior, I'm still learning. It's exactly now 2 years with them. I'm, you know, doing a lot of different things that I've been doing in Abu Dhabi. Well, I'll tell you what, I do miss the teaching part. I'm not involved because I'm not a subject matter expert. But even that, I actually did ask them to allow me to teach one course. So I'm teaching Intro to Research Methods, the only course I could teach in Rabdan. I love dealing with students so much that I said I cannot just do admin work. So I still do the teaching 3 hours per week. I have more time to focus on my research. I'm doing a lot of research with different collaborators. But then I get to support everybody and I see the added value I'm giving to the academy, Rabdan. And I'm learning so much about defense and security. I had no idea that I didn't know anything in this area. Simple things like cranks in the military and police. I didn't know the difference between a brigadier and a colonel and senior officer. I was shocked. Oh, is that right? So you probably know more than me. We have no military background. My family, they're all scientists, doctors, and engineers. So I took up the challenge. People thought I was crazy, and but I think I don't regret it. I'm enjoying it. I don't know how long I'll stay, but for now, I'm enjoying it. They do appreciate the value I'm bringing and my academic, because keep in mind, yes, the subject matter is different, but higher education, when it comes to the admin, is very similar in the UAE. The way we do the accreditation, the way, we've got, the CEA, which is the body that accredits nationally. The process is the same, the subject is different. And I'm very familiar with that process, if that makes sense. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your time. And my take home message to any females that hopefully will listen to this female, whether you're a scientist or in any field, you know, if you've got a dream, really just work on it. Work on it. Do not let the gender thing be a barrier. Again, don't use the gender. We're all human beings, we've got different talents. We're behind the gender stuff now. If you're talented, you've got an opportunity, go for it. It could be scary, it could be overwhelming, but at least give it a try. That's what I keep saying. I never dreamt of reaching where I am. I just thought, I'll be a little biologist, maybe in a lab or hiding somewhere. But no, I mean, it's amazing. And that's what you love. But I didn't know I had much more potential than that. And I didn't know I actually enjoyed these roles more than the lab, believe it or not. Yeah, till I came. So that's why I'm telling people, give yourself a chance, take these opportunities when they come along and don't wait. We keep saying later, later, later. No, if there's a good opportunity, even if you're not 100% sure, give it a try. And the sky is the limit. And that's what I keep telling all the young females. I'm not superwoman. There are a lot of ladies that are doing what I'm doing and much more, but it's determination, it's focus, and hopefully the right support system. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.